Let's come back home now, and a new ad campaign to tackle obesity is being accused of encouraging eating disorders. The West Australian campaign takes the viewer inside the stomach of an obese man to see the toxic fat around his internal organs.
Professor Amanda Sainsbury-Salis is an expert on obesity and eating disorders with Sydney's University's Bowden Institute, and she joins us now. Many thanks for your time this morning. We might start running this ad as we tackle this issue to give people an idea of what exactly we're talking about, and we don't actually go to the very graphic part of this where we start. We see him there, you know, of course, pinching the fat on his stomach, but we won't go to the very graphic parts where it is a much more overt sign of the fat inside his stomach themselves. They are quite graphic ads. What are your initial thoughts about running these kind of ads publicly?
Well, my thought when I first saw the ad and heard about the controversy that they had raised, my thought is, it's the truth. You know, this is the truth. The fat around the internal organs is toxic. It does contribute to diseases such as certain cancers, diabetes, heart disease. So, you know, it's telling it like it is.
Amanda, is it that sort of shock value that we've seen perhaps with, say, the TAC ads in Victoria and some of the smoking ads that have been extremely successful?
I mean, we know that in certain circumstances, fear is a greater motivator than the desire for pleasurable experiences. So, and especially in terms of prevention of obesity. So, I mean, this is a public health campaign, and I really like the ads, and I think they're a very important addition to the public health campaign.
There has been, though, as we spoke of, some criticism around the fact that this could cause a different reaction, and that is people becoming a little bit obsessive, leading to eating disorders. Do you think a campaign like that could do that?
Okay, so there's two aspects to think of. Number one is the body image of young people as they're developing, and the other question is behaviours linked to weight management. So on the latter of these, so while we know that certain extreme weight management behaviours can contribute to eating disorders, and these include, for example, extreme restriction of calories, extreme levels of physical activity or exercise. None of these are depicted in these ads. In fact, the ads depict very, very sensible, healthy lifestyle options that are helpful and healthful for anyone of any age and any body weight. So this includes, for example, don't stand in front of the fridge eating pizza. I mean, it's a very healthful message. Another message in the ads is, if you can walk to the shops, do so instead of driving. Another message is, you know, don't pick up 2 big bags of chips in the supermarket and buy them because they're, you know, 2 for the price of 1. These are behaviours that are very healthful and which will promote a healthy body weight, healthy metabolic profile in all people. So, you know, there's nothing in the ads in terms of weight management behaviour that would promote, or which is known to promote, eating disorders.
Now we know we know that a lot of eating disorders develop quite early, as you say. Is it possible that these very graphic images of fat in a young adolescent mind could trigger something like that, trigger such an aversion that they would in the end develop, perhaps, as you say, deprivation of calories, something that leads to a more chronic disorder?
Okay. We do need to be mindful about images that are portrayed in, for example, public health images about obesity. And this is an area of ongoing research, and that is, what is the effect of public health campaigns on obesity, on young people of all ages, and the development of eating disorders. On the other hand, we do have a situation in Australia right now where 70% of the adult population is overweight and obese, and we do know conclusively that this is contributing to many diseases and difficulties. So diabetes, heart disease, cancers, exacerbated osteoarthritis, all sorts of problems, sleep apnea, gallstones, etc. So, you know, we know that there's this very strong link between overweight and obesity with many health problems, and that is a major issue to be addressed.
So in a sense, what you're saying is this sort of shock tactic, which is then followed up, as you say, by very helpful hints and tips around some bad behavioural issues. Do you think it's time we do that? Because this message of us eating too much and sort of the obesity message has been out there for some time.
Well, yeah, I mean, all sorts of messages are important, and it's important to note that not one single or public health campaigns are not going to be the answer. We will need public health campaigns combined with, you know, changes in the environment, altered taxes or different regulations around food, much as has occurred for tobacco or seatbelt wearing, for example.